Hi, welcome to Penn Central 99. I'm Terry, and this is the River Mountain Model Railroad. Today we're at the workbench because we're going to take the container of a household product and turn it into a throttle pocket for my DT402. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first and foremost, this is nothing earth-shattering and this is nothing new. There are plenty of ideas out there, especially on YouTube, about how to make throttle pockets for your handheld devices. As a matter of fact, I was watching Vinny's video over at the BNSF 6951, and he recently made a throttle pocket and gave me the idea to make one. Now, although Vinny used a container from ground pepper out of the kitchen, I didn't have a plastic one. Our container for our spices are metal, and plastic ones weren't big enough, so I needed to search the house and find something that I could use for a throttle pocket. Now, I'm not promoting anyone's product, but this empty container started out as lotion. So I told my wife what I was looking for and scoured the house for some ideas that I could use for a throttle pocket and came up with this. And the reason for that is, if you notice, the dimensions of the container pretty much mirror that throttle pocket. So it should fit in there pretty good. As you can see, I've already cleaned out the bottle and removed the labels from it. So what I need to do is I'm going to remove the neck area here because this is waste and I don't plan on using it. Once I get this neck area out of the way, I can actually make some decent measurements and do some decent cuts. I'm going to just be using a plain utility knife with a razor blade to cut away the neck, and then we'll go ahead and begin shaping. Okay, I've made some cuts all the way around the neck of the bottle, and you can see here that that just removed out of the way. One safety caution, please be careful when you're using any sharp instruments or power tools when you're working on your stuff. You want to make sure you don't cause injury. So, but you can see the utility knife blade cut right through this and got that neck out of the way. Now I can actually work with this. Okay, now that we have the bottle cut down, you can see that I use a DT402. Some of you may use other handhelds from other manufacturers or other sizes, so just get something that that fits what you're looking for. You know, in my case, that lotion bottle almost fit this DT402 pretty decent. You can see how it kind of fits right in there. What I want to do is I want to sit down, maybe cut down to that red line there that's in between the numbers and the function keys and stuff. That way I have a little bit sticking out. So I'm going to use a ruler and make some lines with a Sharpie, and then go ahead and start cutting that. Okay, I've got the lines marked with the Sharpie, and I've started to make some cuts in there with the utility knife. I just need to finish this up, and this will turn out pretty good. If your edges are a little rough after you make your cuts, you can also use some shears to trim around the edge. There's just very carefully trim around the edge and clean that up a little bit. This doesn't look too bad, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. Okay, I went to the spare parts drawer, which I'm sure everybody has in their garage somewhere, but in my spare parts drawer I found some screws that I'm going to use to mount this to the benchwork. But what I did in order to mount this, and it takes a little bit of thought depending on how you want to mount yours to your benchwork, but what I did is I drilled 2 holes in the front of the throttle pocket that are big enough for the shaft of the screwdriver to fit through, because as you can see here, I've got 2 more holes in the back which are just big enough to hold the shaft of the screw but not the screw head. Because what my intention is I'm going to insert this, and to mount it to the benchwork, just screw through there. So let's go ahead and get that done. Although this is plastic, I still want to take some precautions to protect my DT402. So what I did is I found some old padding that came in some packages during shipping. So I'm going to cut this to size to fit inside of the throttle pocket here to help protect my my DT402 a little bit. But I pre-drilled holes in the benchwork to make it easier to get the screws in. So let's go ahead and just finish tightening up this second one here. In order to get this to stay in place a little bit better, I'm going to use some double-sided tape here. Let's peel off a strip. I'm going to put it on the back side of this foam padding. Now when we put this down in there, it's going to stick right on the back. As you can see, my DT402 sits in there pretty good. Nice little throttle pocket. Exactly what I was looking for, instead of laying on top of the layout and getting in the way all the time. So now I have a nice little throttle pocket. Well, that pretty much does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And as always, thanks for watching.